Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And just as I've been preaching and pontificating on some of my previous videos that we do not need to defund the police, many cities are down several hundred, if not 1,000 police officers. The governor of Louisiana called a state of emergency across the entire state, Governor Landry, and said they need more than 1,800 police officers throughout the state, and it's become a public safety crisis. Chicago is down 1,000 police officers, and over 2,800 have left the force in New York City alone last year, before retirement or took retirement and left the force. So it's a very, very tough job. We need great police officers. Public safety is one of the 5 or 6 pillars to making sure that we have a safe city, state, country. And with some of the incidences that have taken place in the past, whether it's Mike Brown or the gentleman in Minnesota, where you've had interracial dynamics with police officers, it has created a chasm of distrust for civilians and the police, and we should all be together. But there's always, as you try to defend, and it's a very tough job, when you leave in the morning, you don't know if you're going to make it back home at night, and police officers and teachers are not paid enough. But as soon as you start supporting and wanting to be a proponent of a strong police force, you always have a few bad seeds that take place that reinforce the distrust that many of our U.S. citizens have for our police force throughout our country. And this is a particular case that took place with an egregious police officer who wasn't even on duty and had an altercation with a civilian. This is straight out of Connecticut, so let's go. Connecticut cop caught on camera slugging driver in the face in road rage incident. Officer Alan Ganter, a 57-year-old member of the Meriden Police Department, was charged with third-degree assault for slugging Thomas Bracklio on December 8, 2023, in the South Hartfield suburb of Rocky Hill, local Fox affiliate WTIC reported. Bracklio, 37, was driving through Rocky Hill when he came to a stop behind Officer Ganter at a red light in a right turn lane, according to video obtained by WTIC. Bracklio became angry that Ganter was not turning right on red, and he honked at Officer Ganter. He said, "What the F are we doing?" he says to himself in his car. He has a video camera set up on his dashboard where you can see him. Then he called him a D-head. After honking again, Thomas flips his middle finger, to which Officer Ganter responds by getting out of his car, holding his police badge in one hand and his phone in the other. "You can't take a right turn on red, a-hole," Ganter tells Thomas. "Really? Where does it say that at?" "It says stop here on red," Thomas responds, pointing to a sign that says exactly that. Officer Ganter takes a picture of Thomas's license plate and threatens to give him a ticket while he's off duty. I don't know how you can give him a ticket while he's not even at work. But as Officer Ganter walks away, Thomas says, "Let me get your badge number." Officer Ganter then turns around and punches Thomas in the face through the driver's side window. "You want to get arrested?" Officer Ganter asks Thomas. Thomas says to him, "You're going to get arrested for assault on a civilian," Thomas responds. As Officer Ganter gets in his car and drives away, Thomas dials Rocky Hill Police and reports the incident. Rocky Hill cops later spoke to Officer Ganter, who admitted on body cam footage to punching Thomas. "It was just one of those moments of just plain stupidity on my part," he told Internal Affairs, according to the Connecticut Post. Officer Ganter, who reportedly has more than 20 years of experience in law enforcement, had been assigned to Thomas Edison Middle School in Meriden at the time of the road rage punch. So let's talk about it. Well, initially, after Thomas made the phone call to the police and said that this officer Ganter had punched him in the face, when the police department went to Ganter's home to question him about the incident, Officer Ganter denied it. He didn't know that Thomas Brocuglio had a dash cam system where it was recording, video recording the entire incident. Officer Gannon didn't even know that that was being recorded. So he denied ever punching him. And then when the police told Officer Ganter that it had been recorded, then he recanted his statement and then admitted to punching him. So at first he lied about it. And that happens a lot. Police officers are just human beings. And then he admitted to it. And then he also still wanted to see if Thomas, the civilian, could get arrested or get a ticket for blowing his horn at Officer Ganter. So it got even way loosey-goosey and crazy. Police officers have a very limited knowledge of the law. They know more about the law than the average civilian, but they don't know more about the law than lawyers and attorneys. And Officer Ganter got his hand caught in the cookie jar, and police officers lie all the time. As a matter of fact, they can lie during an interrogation, and that information can still be admissible in court, where if you lie, you can go to jail as a civilian. So you got two levels of truthfulness that takes place between police officers and civilians. And sometimes we do have a few bad apples that think that they're above the law, even though they're representing the law. I've done several videos on lawyers and judges that have gotten in all kinds of trouble. There was a judge in Ohio who stabbed his ex-wife 57 times in front of his kids and is doing life in prison. There's a judge in Oklahoma who was having a relationship with 3 prosecutors and a sheriff's deputy who got removed from the bench and may get disbarred. So just because you have these titles as doctors, lawyers, police officers does not mean that you are God or you are above the fray of making human being mistakes. And I think in this particular situation, the level of arrogance and callousness that Officer Ganter displayed to this civilian, Mr. Thomas, shows that this is not the first time he has done this. And I guarantee this is not the first time he has lied on a police report. And as we all know, the more times that you go to the edge of that mountain and temper and play with jumping off, slipping and falling, that one of those times is like Russian roulette. Either the wind will blow a little too heavy, you may slip, and you will go over that edge. And he probably has been doing this in his uniform a million times and has never gotten caught. And then look at the karma and how life goes full circle. The one time when he's not in uniform and off duty, he does something that was harmful and hurtful to a civilian, punches him in the face, not knowing that Thomas had a dash cam in his car. It happened so fast, and he got caught punching this guy with a closed fist through the driver's side window, right in the jaw. I mean, you can see it full out. There's no denying it. The dash cam showed Officer Ganter clearly, and it showed Mr. Thomas, the civilian, and his dog clearly, which Officer Ganter didn't think that the incident was being recorded. So he got his hand caught in the cookie jar. It's an unfortunate situation. He probably has been doing this his entire career and getting away with it, and he is not an officer that should be representing the police force, because that punch could turn into a shooting of a civilian on a minor traffic stop or a minor arrest. When many times when people have this kind of arrogance and hubris that they can do whatever they want, they never stop, and it goes on and on. So hopefully he didn't get suspended. He just got removed for a few days, and he's back on the force Tell me what you think. It's a Trevor Donald Experience.